Good evening to all. Welcome to the world of ham radio, the activity with which I have been associated for the last 40 years. All these years, one common question we used to encounter from many of my friends, relatives, what is the advantage that you are having being a ham? In what way it has benefited to you? So I wanted to make it clear that communication plays a vital role. All the people, whether it is a common man to a king, needs communication. Without communication, a king is also can't do anything. In the year 2000, we have been airlifted to the Gujarat earthquake affected areas. For this purpose, three special aircrafts have been deputed. Hams, about 25 people transported to Gujarat in three teams. Apart from this, other people also, like police and others, also have been transported with this special aircraft. Hams are armed with the latest communication transceivers, antennas, batteries, so as to independently establish communication links. Once after reaching the earthquake affected places, the places like Anjar, Bachao, Gandhi Dam have been affected very badly, and we have been asked to establish the station. The places like the Nagar, where the headquarters is situated, Bus, Anjar, Bachao, other places. I myself, immediately after reaching to Bus airport, wanted to establish Amrede station. In fact, we reached in the early morning 3 a.m. We waited for some time after carrying all our equipment and personal luggage to one side, control room, where we have baffled to see the destruction caused by the earthquake. Almost all the buildings were destroyed. The remaining buildings which were intact were also become useless. It is very, very dangerous to stay there. So we have been searching for a suitable place where we can take some rest and so as to involve in the work communication activity from the next day onwards. I approached the authorities, explained the situation. Some of our colleagues were feeling nervous, unable to do anything. So the aeroplane which was transported us to the bus, Russian aircraft. So there was some language problem. The local authorities, some people, some persons, that was odd hour, around 3 a.m. in the morning. Only locally, some class 4 person, he came and started, he tried to strike a conversation with the aeroplane in which we have been transported. But these air crew were Russians, so language problem is there. Whatever the Russians, the crews wanted to tell, the local person was unable to understand. So immediately I took the responsibility, understand the situation. It is our country. Even though that is not our place, but still, when compared with those Russian air crew, we can better communicate to the Gujarat people. I realized it. Immediately I told them we are coming from Andhra Pradesh, carrying communication equipment as well as other material, food and cloths, bed sheets, other required material which can be distributed to the earthquake victim. And also we are carrying some money, 5 crores, and the check format. Then they told us, right now no responsible officer is there. You get down from the aircraft and take rest for today. A few hours in the early morning, when the administrative officials, responsible officers, will come to the airport and they will interact with us, and they are likely to guide us where to install our equipment, where to these equipment have to be carried out. All these things will be dealt out by the officers. Understood is such a manner I could able to manage and successfully conversated with those people who are available at the time. And immediately after unloading whatever material was there in the aircraft, and immediately the flight Turkmenistan, which came from all the way from Turkmenistan, a Russian country, returned back to some other destination. So we stayed there for some time and slowly started to reach the place where some activity was seen. So I told the officers, whoever was available at the time, all the way we are coming from Andhra Pradesh. We all came here on the instructions of our Chief Minister, Sri Chandrababu Naidu Garu. In fact, we came here to help you. But after reaching here, we ourselves in some trouble, where to whom to contact and where to go, how to start our work. All these things, to clear all of our doubts, we need to talk to a administrative person like a collector or officer who is having supervisory powers. Then told us, nobody is there now. Tomorrow morning, the responsible officers, they will reach and approach. After consulting them, you can start the work. For the timingly, you relax yourself, feel cool, and have some food like this. Told us, having they are kind enough to offer some chapatis as breakfast, a sufficient amount of water, despite they themselves in the so much of confusion, the big loss there. The buildings were collapsed, even the airport buildings, Pakka buildings, concrete buildings were also damaged with the impact of the earthquake. And then after completion of our breakfast, started to scout for a bamboo which is useful to erect the antenna. It was a usual practice whenever we go there to any area for the disaster management activity. The first and foremost thing that we do is searching for a suitable bamboo that is essential for erecting a dipole antenna. Then after some time we found some bamboo, but that all the area is a restricted area under the control of Indian Air Force. So we requested them, we took the permission from the people, whoever is available, whoever is in charge at the time. Somehow managed to get a very big bamboo. And of course, we are carrying the threads, the required threads, so as to erect the antenna in a proper manner, inverted B antenna, that is. So that is the only one antenna can be erected in a lesser time, and it is quite efficient to communicate all over the India. But the next problem is we observed power supply was severely disturbed, no power at all. We can imagine how situation is bad. The Indian Air Force power was affected. I mean, Indian Air Force Station was also affected so badly. The power supply was also not restored, but it has not hampered our efforts for establishing communication. We found many military vehicles were there, scattered, jeeps and cars and vans scattered around there. We told them, explain for providing a battery because we are finding many vehicles. And then they have brought one jeep. The battery was installed in the jeep itself, not detached the battery from the vehicle. They brought the jeep, asked us to utilize the current, and then took a wire from the battery and connected to our set using our battery card. Then successfully, after directing the antenna, connected. Once we started our transmission, the first transmission went to my house where my XYL, it the terminology XYL means wife. My wife was eagerly waiting. She knows if everything is set that I have to open a particular frequency, the frequency 14 megacycles, 160 kilohertz. That is our usual communication frequency. It's our usual understanding. Suchran, she keeps the transceivers that was proudly, I can say, built by me. I myself, that's not a Japanese transceiver, Indian made equipment. It was kept to open the frequency, but it's not having a digital frequency counter very well. But that is some crude arrangements marked on a dial. Like usually we find these type of arrangements on old radios, some markings. So similar manner, she was keeping the frequency at that point only without moving anywhere, keeping the frequency stationary. And once I started giving a general call, immediately my signals went to Vijayawada, and my transceiver, the receiver, Indian made receiver, received the signal. Electromagnetic waves entered into my set, and in turn, signals traveled through the space 320,000 kilometers per second. Immediately signals, and then my RF amplifier antenna picked up the signal, and it was amplified to the sufficient level. After the due process, it was sent to the speaker, and then my voice was heard in my house. My wife was very, very happy to receive my signal. She was anxiously waiting the call from my side. I know, because the communication plays a vital role. The thing why I am stressing is, at the same time, one central minister was also touring the Gujarat earthquake affected place. Almost it was been for the last 3 days. He was touring all the earthquake affected places, meeting the victims, consoling them, and overseeing the food and other material, relief and rescue material, all the arrangements was involved. But at that time, no other communication. Cell towers are also collapsed and network failed completely. No other communication. At that time, no communication to his own family members for the last 3 days. It was a privilege for me, being a ham, and my wife is also a ham. I could able to communicate to my wife without having any problem successfully. And I stayed in Gujarat for almost 13 days continuously. These 13 days, my wife is used to monitor all the communication. Whenever she wanted to talk to me, immediately she knows the communication procedure, how to call will be part and parcel of the communication procedure. So this is the one advantage when a central minister not having the facility as a common man being a ham. I enjoyed the communication. So once my welfare, my whereabout is known to her, she felt very happy. Initially, she was little bit reluctant. So going to some places where the problem comes, really it sends them some anxiety. All the anxiety was clear, and she was able to monitor our communication almost whole day. Like 13 days, my receiver was kept open, and then she able to track me. So this is one example I would like to share. Being a ham, only avail this facility. Thanks very much. Such a lovely activity. I never forget. I never. So that is why this one example, being a ham, how we can be intact with our family members without losing any contact. So thanks very much. And once again, bye for now. Meet you the next time with some other interesting topic. Bye.